May I remind you that trading is risky and not suitable for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Why would you risk money you cannot afford to lose? Why not just learn how to trade, get your track record, and then present that to an investor? I don't know, say Wayne. Cool. So welcome to QuantBox Daily, where we review fundamentals for a number of currency pairs and then look at the technicals and review what the setups are before London Open. It's currently 30 minutes before London Open. Let's have a gander at our fundamentals, this beautiful tool, QuantBox. If you haven't got it yet, you definitely need to get it because this is power to the people. All right, so euro dollar, you can see bias remains the same. Everything remains the same. Cool, cool, cool. What's interesting though is this chart over here, slightly changing, okay? Pretty flat yesterday, some changes going on. We'll look at the technicals in a moment. We got some news coming out today, medium and low. Okay. Let's have a look at our pound dollar. Any changes there? Okay, still a strong sell. Again, price coming up slightly, retracement to higher levels of resistance. That's cool. We love selling high. The higher we sell, the more money we make on the move down. So bit of data coming out of the United Kingdom and the States today. Core inflation rate year on year, important data point coming out later today. Keep an eye on that. You know why. USD CAD is still a buy. Okay. And okay, so only US data coming out today that'll affect that. Aussie USD still a sell. Okay. Kiwi dollar still neutral. Yen pairs still a sell on Aussie yen, though predicting that pullback. CAD yen is still neutral. Euro yen is still neutral. Pound yen is still neutral, and Kiwi yen is still neutral. So pretty much the same as yesterday, and that's okay. We're totally cool with that. No changes, continue with what we were doing. So in terms of Aussie dollar USD, we remain down here, okay? We spoke about this yesterday. We said, okay, well, I'm not keen on selling down here because we're at a place where bears can take profits. Also, why would you want to sell the lower low? We looked at this yesterday and said, could there be an opportunity for a counter trend trade, takes up the weekly central? We've been chilling down here. Seeing as today is Thursday, we're supposed to be up here by today. It's strange that we're still down here. Let's have a look and see if anything would have given you an indication to buy this yesterday. So there's two ways of doing this. The way that I trade is I look for opportunities in my daily first. So I'm looking for price. So first of all, bias, bearish, right? So I'm saying, well, where's resistance? 21, roll reversal, 55, central, M3, okay, couple of levels. Is price at resistance currently? No, it's not. Okay, cool. In terms of the 4 hour, still bearish, resistance, 21, central, 55, M3, okay. Is price currently resistance? No. Is it currently at support? Well, is a profit taking a support? No, it's a place where traders potentially take profit, right? So don't want to be selling into a profit taking zone. Let's just imagine that pivot points were consistent, which they are. And let's just imagine that you understood pivot point theory, which you should. Then you'd know that if you were doing a weekly swing trade, you'd be getting a weekly M3 or a central and taking that down to the M1 or S2. Okay. And based on that, you look at this and say, well, what am I going to make 6 pips in this trade? Am I going to make 40 pips in this trade? Like, come on, right? Not keen. Much rather sell here, sell 21. Now you can see price came up to that 21, didn't make a lower low. So consolidating at the moment. If you were looking for a setup to take this up based on profit taking, and again, remember, it is possible that this continues going down, which is why yesterday I said, make sure you verify bullishness. I would look on the H4 timeframe from some level of like support, right? And specifically an area where support, where what was resistance has become support. Now, you could be looking at this candle over here and saying, right, have I got support? Okay, price coming up, price chilling over there. I'm then going to pay attention to this over here and say, well, did this come off any kind of resistance? Now, what's interesting is that we can see here price breaks that resistance, then price comes down, right? What's equally interesting is the fact that when price broke this resistance, it didn't become support and price didn't continue going up. Okay. Now, if you were looking for an indication of bullishness, there's support over there, support over there. There's a couple of levels, right? So once I've identified that my 4-hour candle is closed at a level of support, again, looking for a counter trade opportunity, because I can't sell down here, and long-term bearish, so maybe short-term bullish. And again, Thursday, but this could pop up today, tomorrow, and then, you know, be a bearish week next week. We're not too sure. If we confirm bullishness, then you can justify taking the trade based on your strategy saying counter trade trading opportunity. If you want to stick to your fundamental bias, then you have to wait for this to pull back to resistance. Okay. So either or, waiting for price to close at some kind of level of support in the 4-hour time frame. Once you've got that, you then just verify that down on the lower time frame and say, well, do I have any indication that this is no longer bullish at the market open? Because what you realize is the close of this candle, the 4 o'clock candle, closes at 8 o'clock, but the market open only comes in 2 hours later. So all you're doing is you're basically saying, well, if this candle closed at support, if you sort of looking at this and saying, I've got sort of this range over here, price breaks out, price pulls back, closes at the top of this range. If you saw that as support, then what you're doing is you're looking at the H1 time frame and you're saying, okay, since that happened, going into London Open, do I have anything that has changed that bias? One thing you could do is you could mark off support. Okay. What I like to do is, because of the fact that support might be this wick, it might be these candles, it might be that wick over there, it's difficult to tell what level the market is using. So I just like to draw a line at the bottom of the wick. If it's a red candle, then the low. If it's a green candle, then the high. So this is the candle I'm looking at, 4 o'clock candle. And so I'm just going to draw a line across the bottom of this wick. I'm going to say, okay, that's a low of 62675. And I'll make sure it's very accurate. 62675. All right, go to my H1, and I'm simply asking myself a couple of questions. The first question is, well, what denotes bearishness? If I had to define bearishness, how would I define that? Well, as we can agree, let's first understand what bullishness and bearishness are in terms of market flow. Bullishness means there are more bulls than bears. There aren't enough bears to fill all of the buy orders. If it is bearish, then there are more bears than bulls, and there aren't enough bulls to fill all of the sell orders. That's all that's going on. So if I look for behavior that is bullish, for example, if support is holding, if price breaks resistance and resistance becomes support, those two things are very clear. There's some bullishness there. When price breaks resistance and resistance becomes support, bulls are the ones who do that. If price closes at support, bulls are the ones that do that. Because the only reason these candles present themselves where they are is because in the time frame that we've got, this is an hour, we've had more bulls than bears in the situation. Now, there could be, bears taking profits and then bears getting back in. Let's not worry about that too much. The fact is that here there were more buy orders than sell orders. And here there were more sell orders than buy orders. Okay. So what we're looking for is an indication of behavior to say to ourselves, okay, since this candle, and again, we've drawn it off the wick of this candle. Since this candle, the 4 o'clock candle opened, let's put a line down towards that. So there it is there. There's the open of that 4 o'clock candle. Okay, that's we're now picturing this candle over here. Because technically, if you see this candle closing at support and your view is that that's where you want to buy, what you need to do is just verify and say, well, since then, has anything changed? What am I paying attention to? Well, first of all, if the following candles are lower than this purple line, that means that prices continued moving down. We don't want to trade that, because that means that what we've got is, instead of price holding over here and going up, we've actually got a situation where we've got lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs. Okay. That's the first thing I look at. Is this purple line still in place? Now, there is a caveat to that, because if price breaks this purple line but closes at a lower level of support, then that could be something that I look at trading. But you got to be aware of the fact that price is neutral in that situation, which is a thing I'll discuss at a later stage. So for now, just assume that if price breaks the purple line, then you're not interested. Okay. Second thing is, has the bias candle for the market open, i.e. the last candle to close before the market open, has that candle closed at resistance? Now we can see this is a red candle. Red candles can't close at resistance because they close below their open. And if something's closing below its open, it can only close at support. A red candle cannot close at resistance. Okay, green candles can close at resistance. Red candles can close at support. So therefore, I've already outlined the fact that this candle cannot possibly close at resistance. Right, so right now, as it stands, purple line intact, red candle could not close at resistance. Could this candle break support? It absolutely could break support. It could break support over here. It could break support over here. Okay, in fact, it has broken those levels of support. But in breaking that support, has it closed at a level of support? We look over here on the left-hand side, and we see there's some support over there. So what I'll do is when this candle closes, I'll draw a line under the close of the candle, not the wick, but the close. And I'll just see, is this candle currently closing at support? Or has this candle broken resistance and not closed at support? Or has this candle closed at resistance? If I observe bearish behavior, price breaking support, support becoming resistance, price closing at resistance, then I am quite keen to say that something has changed. If my view was that this is bullish, i.e. prices at support and I'm looking to buy, but I see bearish behavior on an H1 time frame, that tells me that maybe my view on this was incorrect, and H1 has now helped me prevent myself from taking that trade. I could take it one step further and say, okay, what does my M15 look like? And over here, I could say, all right, well, what I'm really looking for is that higher high, higher low, or double bottom. Now we can see price all the way up here. So what I'd really prefer in this situation, you can see that there's low momentum right now. I would really prefer a higher high, higher low. Get that 2155, good angle of separation, and take the trade like that. Okay. But my signal comes from these higher time frames. All right. So play around with that. And what you can also do is if you come through to next week's stop, look, and correct session, then we can discuss that in more detail if you have any questions about that. So that's how I do things. So I'm always focusing on bias, right? Is something bullish? Is something bearish? If I'm looking to buy, I want to buy bullish price in the bullish market, unless I'm doing a counter trend trade. Okay. Now you'll know there's one thing I'd like to mention in terms of counter trend trades. You'll know that the only counter trend trade that Wayne does is when price opens below the expected targets at the end of the week or month. And I think that's a wise trading decision to make, because it's almost like free money when price is down here at the end of the week and you just take it off that M2 the following week up to the central, or price is down here at the end of the month. You take it off here until the monthly central. It's a pretty, as long as you verify the trade, it's a pretty safe trade, okay? Because profit taking has to take place at that point in time. Well, has to is a very, two words you don't really hear in Forex, but it's more likely. This over here, a lot more of a dangerous trade. You've got to be much sharper in your tactics. And so please make sure that you're verifying those trades. But ultimately, one thing is for sure, you're not selling down here. Even if you get your lower lows and lower highs in the M15 chart, you're not selling down here. Think about your return on investment. You want to buy low, sell high. Okay. So I leave that to you. Let's look and see. So euro dollar. Okay, we got euro dollar consolidating over here. I don't see any trading opportunity at the moment, total consolidation. And to be honest with you, this is a really easy thing to trade because you stay away from it until such time as you get some kind of indication of trend, be that higher, higher, high, higher, low, lower, low, lower, high. Now, we all know that right now we are currently bears on the euro dollar. So I don't see any opportunity to sell this. currently very much out of position. 21.55 mean nothing to me because right now we're not trending, consolidating. So I'm going to just leave euro dollar alone. I haven't really been looking at euro dollar this week because of that reason. Pound dollar is the same situation. Okay, look at that consolidation sideways. We got these traders, bulls thinking that this over here is a great time to take it long. We got bears thinking it's a great time to take it short. And to me, that looks like middle of the range. Okay. Kiwi CAD neutral, leave that alone. USD CAD consolidation, but you can see here continuing bullishness. Okay, so if you yesterday identified this roll reversal, you said, ah, look, price closed at support. That's a 4 p.m. candle. Okay. If you said, well, I can't really take that right now because that's not a market open bias candle. If you use those, if you use market open bias candles, it's more of an IMAP thing. Or you saw this, you're like, oh, look, price is close to the support. Yesterday, like, well, this is at 3 o'clock this morning, Asia. Okay. You took it up there. Then you verify in that lower time frame, looking at the M15, and you can see there, nothing says bearish. In fact, if anything, you wait for this, and you can see there, we're close to that support over there. Okay. And you're currently long there. Very much out of position. So be aware of where you're taking profit. Okay. Cool. Right now, I'm not seeing any opportunities for a buy. I think it happened earlier today. Right now, very much out of position. Not going to sell either because of bias, but also look at the chart. I'm still feeling this is consolidating. Not seeing amazing higher highs and higher lows. So if I could trap this into a range, if you look at the daily time frame, wouldn't it be nice if price broke above that? Recognize that you're still at the top of that range from a daily perspective. Okay, not going to sell this though. Not going to counter trend trade it because we aren't in a profit taking zone. And again, like, remember that there's certain counter trend trades that just are more favorable than others. Aussie yen. Now, yesterday we put a watch list together for both Aussie USD and Aussie yen. Recognizing the daily that we've now come up yesterday to the central. We recognize this as bottom of the range. We said, okay, cool, we got some wicks over here. Price at the bottom of the range. You see there, okay. Price has to make a lower low, don't sell the lower high. And we said to ourselves, okay, potential profit taking zone, well, potential profit taking. Can we look at taking this trade higher to the central? Okay, you can see price breaking up, price breaking down, closing at that support. You could verify that lower down in H1. You could have gotten in down here yesterday. There were quite a few opportunities. I'll show that to you now. Price is now bouncing around here. So M15, couple of things you could have done yesterday. Here was one. You can see there, look at how these candles here sitting at that support over there. That could have been a buy for you. You could have waited for price to pull back up, come back down, close at that support over there. There's a buy over there. Okay. And beyond that, you can see since then we've kind of come up and now we're sort of sideways. Not sort of, we are sideways. So what you could be doing is you could be waiting for this to make a higher high, higher low. Yesterday was a great chance, a great opportunity to take that trade, especially this one down here, which was just very much in position. Coming off that roll reversal, very much in position. Nice little trade. You can fib that. A whole bunch of things you could do there. Where we are now, I understand that we are currently coming off of a 21 EMA on the daily, on the H1 time frame. Okay, for sure. Question is, how's my H4 looking? Okay, currently sitting on top of that over there, top of this roll reversal over here. So I'm not going to use perception to decide if I'm taking this trade. Again, I could look at the H4 time frame. I could draw that, get that wick in over there. 92002. H1, all I'm looking again is, has price broken the purple line? Has price broken support? Has price closed at resistance? Has price broken support that's become resistance? Have any of those things happened before the market opened? And if they haven't, then from H1 perspective, I'm like, okay, cool. This is still either bullish or bearish, whatever you're looking for. And I can take it one step further to the M15 time frame and say, okay, fine. So do I see anything like lower lows, lower highs, anything that would constitute this not being bullish? Remember, the reason why I'm sort of saying not being bullish is because of the fact that from an H4 perspective, I'm looking at this over here and saying that price is currently chilling at that support. And on H1, I've got that 21 EMA. So not the most amazing trade from a volatility perspective. Maybe that makes you adjust your lot size. Maybe you're taking the trade in a demo account and you putting it as part of your journal, as a part of a study in terms of how you handle counter trend trades. Maybe you've gone and you've simulated 100 counter trend trades and observed how price behaves in those situations and how you can get into those trades accurately and consistently. Or maybe you're just continuing to risk money you can't afford to lose, which doesn't make sense for you or your future as a currency trader. So we got some important news coming out later today. Keep an eye on that New York session. And make sure that whenever you're trading, make sure you've got your fundamental bias, your technical strategy, and your technical tactics. And make sure that if you're buying, price is bullish. Make sure that if you're selling, price is bearish. And if you are buying in a bearish market, recognize it's counter trend, recognize it's dangerous, and know when you plan to get out of that trade. Without jamming stops too quickly, without closing out of fear. Have a plan, execute the plan. Some days we win trades, some days we lose trades. What's most important is that whatever we do, we behave in a consistent manner. So however you're trading today, make sure that is consistently delivering the results that you want. Okay? And if you're having trouble with it, come to next week's Stop Look and Correct session on Tuesday. Bring your question. We'll go through it together. Hope you have an amazing day. Be safe out there.